For this show. Frankly, I'm your host for every show. Thank you for taking the time out of your day this morning to join with us. We have a great lineup for you today. We are going to be speaking with Katherine Albrecht, and she is the probably the foremost expert on RFID chips and how that is influencing and affecting America. And so I think it's a valuable opportunity for us to get educated about this menace, frankly, to America. And we'll have her joining with us in just a moment. Katherine, are you there?
I sure am, Mike. Hey, it's so good to be on your show this morning and fill people in on what's going on.
Thank you for joining with us. I greatly appreciate it. I know you've got a busy schedule and you've got a show of your own that you do. You actually have a radio show yourself, do you not?
I do. I do a daily show from 3 to 5 Central, Monday through Friday.
Okay.
And people can listen on the internet. It doesn't have to compete with you guys. You can hear it anytime.
You can compete with me. That's just fine.
And we all contribute together. I got to tell you, the people I love most in this country are the people who really make an effort to get the word out about these important things and really provide a counterpoint to all of the relentless propaganda that we get. That you're not safe, we need more tracking, the government needs more power. It's folks like you and your show and me and my show and just all of us out there putting our voices collectively. I think we're really changing the way this country understands, the way the people in this country understand. You think about our parents and our grandparents' generation, and all they had was Walter Cronkite. And if he chose to look into that camera and lie to them, boy, they hated hook, line, and sinker.
Oh yeah.
And we're in a different era now, so I think there's a lot of menaces with new technology, but there's so many extraordinary opportunities. So I salute you for what you do there, Mike.
Well, thank you, and I appreciate what you're doing. You've got a website called KMAshow.com. Is that correct?
That is, and I've been doing a radio show now for 6 years, and it's kind of funny how I became a radio host because I had been a doctoral student at Harvard. I was newly married. I was just kind of working away on my own stuff. And my local grocery store, it was Safeway there in California, introduced this awful frequent shopper card, the Safeway Club card. Nowadays, it's not a big deal, but, back then in the 90s.
I saw your lecture on that many, many years ago.
It's heavy stuff.
Yeah, I mean, I'll tell you what, the one thing that stuck in my mind, and this is kind of silly, but you had mentioned during that they had it down to a science to the point where they could tell how many people lived in your home. And the way they identified that was how much toilet paper you bought.
Isn't that awful?
That's one factoid that just stuck in my mind because I thought to myself, well, how sick is that?
That's crazy stuff because that actually came up because they said that they would be able to tell if Anne Frank was hiding in your home.
I remember that.
That is just disgusting.
Yeah.
Like, who would even think like that?
Well,
I don't
apparently
know.
Our government, because, they've been at it full bore since then to try to identify anything and everything they can about us. The surveillance world that we live in, the 1984-ish world that we're moving into, just 30 years too late, is really frightening. And I think most people still to this day do not understand, even though, and I talk about this almost every day, about surveillance and the level of malevolence that is involved in that. And I have to tell you, I still don't think most people get it.
No, and you know what? They've made it cool. See, that's the whole thing. So the supermarket card really was a way. They were putting their heads together trying to figure out how can we find out who's buying all this food so we can register all the food in the country, basically.
Right.
So we can track people's health by looking at the nutritional profiles of what they buy. And, of course, if you said to people, hey, listen, we want you to start registering your food and telling you, scanning an ID card to buy food, people would have said, heck no.
Right.
But instead they say, oh, join the club. It's a bonus. We want to reward you.
Sure.
And, people just buy it. They just suck it right up. So, I feel like a big part of what I do is I just kind of give people that wake-up call. Hello, the thing that they're telling you is the greatest thing since sliced bread really isn't when you look behind the surface. So on the supermarket cards, I wound up becoming, of all crazy things, the world's leading expert on supermarket frequent shopper cards. I wrote my dissertation at Harvard on that topic. I traveled around the country and interviewed shoppers, and what I discovered was that 3 out of 4 people have no clue when they scan the bonus card or the club card that a record is even being made of their food purchases, much less what can be done with that record.
Right.
I know here in New England, our biggest grocery chain up here is a chain called Stop and Shop. It's a foreign European chain. But they actually are sharing the records with HMOs.
Right.
So, imagine what's going to happen, Mike, when we're all under Obamacare and the government has a vested interest in not providing medical care to people who aren't living right. They could literally say to you, I'm sorry, you don't qualify for that medical treatment because we see here from your shopper card record that you
buy a lot of sugary drinks, right? And so therefore you're feeding the cancer that you're complaining about, and
exactly.
we're just not going to help you.
Exactly. Or, take it to the next level, because in Venezuela they just put price controls on the food. They keep doing that all over the world, thinking that somehow that's going to work, but it leads to shortages when they do that. It's a socialist, communist, bad move. But I could see a future point where these cards are not just food registration cards, but literally food rationing cards.
Right.
So that you're not able to buy food without your government-issued ID. All the infrastructure's been put in place through these cards. So you could get to the point where they say, I'm sorry, you can't have that pint of Haagen-Dazs. You've exceeded your fat quota for the month.
Wow, that would really that would shock a lot of Americans to think that way, and the understanding and the rationalization that that the government and these corporations are going through. They're selling this data, and they're saying that it's so that they can market to us better. And the truth of the matter is, if you agree with that principle, well, I do want to be marketed, and I want them to target the marketing to me. What you don't realize is that is absolutely just another form of manipulation. And, I don't know about you, but I don't want anybody directing my path, if you will, from a nebulous perspective of, well, I know what you like and what you don't like, so I'm only going to show you things that either I think you're going to like or are directed towards, your preferences.
But you're so charitable, because it's really more sinister than that. Let me give you an example from the supermarket arena, which I know so well. So in the past, when your mom and my mom would clip out coupons, they would get like the Thursday paper, and they would go through and find all the things they buy and then clip out all the coupons and save some money. Well, what they want to do now with all of this personalization and targeted marketing is ensure that you never again in your life ever see a coupon for something you actually buy.
Right.
Because they say, well, if I want to get you to switch from 9 Lives to Whiskas cat food, why would I want to give you a coupon on 9 Lives? You're already buying it anyway, and you're going to keep buying it whether I give you a discount or not. So what I'm going to do is only give the 9 Lives coupons to people who never have bought that in their lives.
Got it.
And so what it does is it winds up being, talk about paving your own road here. It's manipulative, and it's designed specifically to extract the maximum money from you and give you the least benefit in return. And it's not fair, it's not democratic, it's nasty. And the latest thing, I just read this yesterday, that now the retail industry is trying to figure out how they can look more like the airline industry. So they're actually thinking now that stores need to have multi-tiered pricing. You and I can sit on the airplane, and you paid $800 for the ticket, and I paid $150 for the ticket, because they can manipulate those prices based on what time you logged on and how urgent it is and how often you've flown with them. They want to do that with peanut butter and dozens of eggs.
Right.
So that you walk into the store and they can say, oh yeah, he's a big spender. Let's crank the price up. Or she doesn't spend enough. Let's crank the price up to make her actually pull her weight and become profitable. So, all these kinds of things that they're cooking up, it's really appalling.
Well,
and
what I find the most disturbing about that is not simply the fact that they're manipulating us as individuals, but we also know that as a result of the NSA and other organizations within the United States government that are building dossiers on everyone, they're actually buying this information, because what they're not allowed to do is there are laws that prohibit them from going out and capturing this information themselves. And they simply do an end run around that by going and buying commercial information that they then add to the database.
Right.
Accurate or not, no one really knows, and they don't even care. All they're interested at this point is sheer volume of data, and then they'll sort that out later if they have a need to look at your particular file.
Well, and the thing about looking at your particular file, because the thing everybody always says is, well, if I'm not doing anything wrong, then I don't care, right? So that's the first thing you hear. And my response to that is, that is the most anti-liberty position I've ever heard, because if you go down that road far enough, then they're going to put a camera in your shower.
Right,
and
right.
They're going to have nostril cam, look it up your nose. So.
Nostril cam. Oh.
So,
I saw the CEO of Google yesterday on a clip on CNBC, and he said they were asking him about search engines, right? And why they capture all the data. And his response was, well, if you're doing something on there that you don't want anyone to know about, perhaps you shouldn't be doing it. And I thought to myself, well, wait a minute now, who's the arbitrary judge of that?
That is one of the nastiest things he ever said. He's about ready to make, like $4 billion off his Google stock.
Liquidating
and we should talk
his
search
share.
engines a little bit because it's heavy stuff. But, whenever I hear that phrase, I always think, what about the woman who just had a miscarriage and wants the privacy of her own home to look that up and grieve privately,
right,
and doesn't want the marketers, assaulting her?
Mm-hmm.
What about someone who's been through a rape or is dealing with drug addiction or is dealing with a cancer diagnosis?
Sure.
This
it's nobody's
notion
business.
that somehow if you want privacy, you're doing something wrong just makes absolutely no sense. And we've got to fight that mentality in our own heads.
Right.
And to really recognize that other people need to have a right to do things in private, too. As long as they're not hurting anybody, nobody should be looking over their shoulder.
Well,
so, this whole search engine thing is insane because what I've discovered, I got my start doing the supermarket card stuff, and then I discovered RFID, which is the microchip tracking, that they can put these tiny microchips into physical objects and then track you through them. And then I discovered that what Google was up to with its search engine.
Yeah.
And
well, you started Start Page, if I'm not mistaken, did
yes,
you not?
Well, I was one of the. I helped to create Start Page. So here's the scoop on this.
Well, hang on a second, because we've got a break coming up.
Yes.
What I'd like to do is have you give us the inside scoop on that, because I've been pushing Start Page. I use it myself. I tell everyone that I know to use it, and I would like to hear from your mouth exactly how it operates and what it does.
Absolutely. It's one
Great.
of the best things out there.
Great. Folks, we're going to take a quick break. When we come back, we'll continue our discussion with Katherine Albrecht. You're listening to America's Voice Now. We'll be right back.
Imagine having your check deposited every month on time with no hassle and at no cost to you. Direct deposit with Community First puts your Social Security, retirement, or payroll check directly into any of your Community First accounts. It's just as safe and secure as if you made the deposit in person. Make things easy with direct deposit at Community First.
Living up to our name, Community First Banking Company.
Community First. Member FDIC.
Hi, it's Hugh Hewitt on the next Hugh Hewitt Show. I'll be joined by a veteran ambassador of Africa to update us on the jihadists sweeping down from the north to the south. And Congressman Pete Sessions, our friend from Texas, now the chairman of the Powerful House Rules Committee. What's he up to and what's moving on the floor? How are they going to keep the Democrats from ruining the entire Congress? All on the next Hugh Hewitt Show.
Sundays from 6 till 7, following Money Talk with Bob Brinker, it's the Weekend Journal with Hugh Hewitt on the Ozarks Best News Talk 107.1.
All right, we are back, and we are joined this morning by Dr. Katherine Albrecht, and I want to make sure I use that reference to doctor. I apologize for not having done that before, Katherine. You've obviously worked very hard for that, and you're a Harvard graduate, and you've got a doctorate from Harvard, if I'm not mistaken, correct?
12 years it took me to earn that. Oh, yeah, that took forever. And what happened is I was studying something totally different. And then I got bit by this privacy activism bug, and I finally said to my husband, I don't think I'm going to manage to finish this because I'm not even interested in that anymore. So I had to go back and restart over again and do it all again. So I basically earned like 2 doctorates from Harvard.
How'd you get out of Harvard without getting brainwashed?
It's crazy because I was at the School of Education, and you want to talk brainwashing, man. Those guys are convinced that the answer to every problem under the sun is government and more money and government and more money. I really was like a sore thumb over there, although the one thing I loved about Harvard is they really do teach you how to research. Man,
Right.
I'm a bulldog now. If I want to find the answer to something, I know how to get it. And for that, I will always thank Harvard. It really is an awesome school.
And I'll wager that you use Start Page a lot of the time.
Back then, it was Ixquick, actually. So the scoop on that is Ixquick was the original alternative search engine to Google. It's IXQUICK. And here's how it works. Ixquick, for a number of years, was this little search engine based over in Europe by this wonderful family-owned Dutch company that believed in privacy and figured out what Google was up to. And so they created this fabulous Ixquick, which searches, basically you put in your search, like, I don't know, eczema, and it goes out to all the other search engines and gets all of their answers and then runs a proprietary little program on it to get you the best answers.
Mm-hmm.
So the cool thing about it, though, is that they don't record your IP address and they don't make any records of your searches. That all gets deleted, which is the only, nobody else does that.
Right.
So then when I had him on my show, actually, as a radio host, and I said, this is the greatest thing ever because I've been trying to figure out how to dump Google. And I'm addicted to Google. I feel like I had a Google needle in my arm because of all the research I was doing.
Sure.
And that was when they said, well, I said, how come nobody in the U.S. has even heard of you? And they said, well, why don't you help us get the word out? So that's what I've been doing. And then in the process of doing that, I said, well, the real problem here is people want the Google search results. They don't want the Google tracking,
right,
but they want the search results. So that's how we created StartPage.com, which is real, 100% actual Google results, scrubbed, filtered. All the tracking cookies are removed away. All of the databaseification is gone. And when you search StartPage.com now, we take your query, submit it to Google, get the Google results, erase all records of your visit. We don't record where you're at, what your IP address is, or what you searched for.
Mm-hmm.
And even if we got a warrant or hackers busted in, God forbid, we've never had any of that, but if we did, there would be literally nothing in the database to get because we don't store anything. So
Outstanding.
It's pretty cool.
I talk a lot about privacy, and I've talked recently about Silent Circle, and I've talked about Crypto Hippie and some other solutions for folks that would like to know that their communications is secure. And we've talked about Tor browsers and things like that. One of the areas that I find the most invasive is literally the search engine. And to me, having a search engine monitoring everything that and you used a perfect example of eczema or psoriasis, right? Now that is a disease that affects millions of Americans. And yet that information being captured is being used for all intents and purposes against you. And, the most private information that you could have something as little as you want to look at some pictures of a bump that you received or a mole on your skin, and you want to look at it and say, hey, let me look at the difference between a skin cancer and a regular plain Jane mole, if you will, right? And suddenly your insurance company knows that you're concerned about skin cancer.
It's really, really creepy. So
it is.
The way to think of this, Mike, and I know you get this because you're using StartPage, but your listeners may not have put this together because it's really hard. It's not an obvious conclusion here. Think about what Google does. Google hires some of the brightest minds in the world. They've got an enormous campus. They spend a fortune developing these products, and then they give them all to you for free.
Right.
And everybody says, oh, but Google's so great, it gave me all this stuff for free. And I said, when was the last time a multi-billion-dollar corporation made any money by giving you all of its products for free? They're not some big benevolent friend of yours.
And how are they making billions if they're doing it for free?
Exactly. And what it comes down to is those things that you think are the product are not the product. They are the bait, and you are the product.
Right.
So
bingo.
What they're doing is they have found a way. Now, think about this from a liberty perspective. If Stalin or Pol Pot or Hitler, any of those guys would have given anything to require all of their population to log on to some global brain 5 or 10 or 20 times a day and tell the government what was on their minds. And yet you could never get people to do that at gunpoint. They wouldn't do it.
Right.
But when you put it together as Google and you put the nice little colorful, little logo there and you say, we'll answer all your questions, people voluntarily go in.
Sure.
And 5, 10, 20 times a day tell you exactly what's on their mind. Google captures all of that into individual profiles. They know more about the individuals on planet Earth. They have a bigger database than the IRS, the NSA, the FBI, the CIA, all combined.
Yep.
And it's all there in your Google profile. And people don't make this connection. They think, oh, Google's so helpful, it's answering my questions. The reality, it's sitting there like a honeypot waiting for you to deposit additional information about yourself.
And even when you go in and you tell it to delete your profile, it does not.
That is the killer part. Google deletes your access to your own profile,
right,
but it does not delete anything on its servers. It keeps that stuff forever.
Mm-hmm.
And nowhere is this worse than Gmail.
Right.
So here was that when I discovered this, I almost felt physically ill. That what Gmail does is they read every single email that you send or receive. They look at all the attachments, like if you send a medical record as an attachment or your business plan or whatever, a legal document, a contract, they read it, they store it, they capture it, and they put it in your profile.
Right.
And that notion that our email, email basically is worth about $5 a month. That's about what it takes Google to put this together. So for $5 a month, to save the price of, a cup of Starbucks coffee, you are allowing this company to monitor all of your correspondence, top to bottom, every person you correspond with, every phone number, every appointment, everything that you mention in there, they're storing and logging. And when I discovered that, I was sickened because, and now at this point, I don't even like writing to people who have Gmail accounts because I know whatever
Sure.
I write to them becomes part of my profile, and I never even signed their contract.
And it's like a spider web where it goes backward. Even though you're not a Gmail user, now your information, they're adding that to the Katherine Albrecht file
Isn't that crazy?
and the Bob Smith file, which is the guy you wrote to.
Exactly. And I've had people say that they just wrote me a quick email, and all of a sudden they started seeing ads for RFID technology popping up on websites they visited. And they didn't even mention RFID in their email to me. It was that Google knows that I'm the RFID person.
Yep.
And simply because you wrote a Gmail to me, they make that inference. So let me tell you the good news about this, because I always like concluding the bad news with good news, is we at StartPage are coming out with a new email program that's going to compete with Gmail.
Outstanding.
That is going to be so private and so encrypted that even we cannot read your email. Even if we wanted to, we couldn't, because it's on an encrypted master disk. It's awesome. It's PGP. When was the last time anybody could do that easily? So we've got total encryption. It's going to rock. It's coming out at the end of the year. And I can make your listeners, if you would like, I can give them kind of the secret key for how they can get a beta trial version to test
Absolutely.
it out.
In fact, give me it, because I'm going to start using it right away.
All right. Well, it's not available yet, but when it comes out, we can give listeners to this program, to the Michael Evans Show, to America here, we can give you guys a free trial so you can kick the tires and let us know what you think. And here's how you do it. Send an email to beta, like alpha beta, B-E-T-A, beta at startpage.com, beta at startpage.com. Say that you heard Katherine on the Michael Evans Show, and you'll get an autoresponder back, and then you just have to sit tight for a couple of months. And when it comes out, your listeners, Mike, will be the first ones on the list to actually get a free account. It's not going to be totally free in the long term, because we're actually going to charge the $5 it costs, but I think that's literally nothing in exchange for knowing that they're not spying on you.
Absolutely.
And, let me liken it to one other thing. It would be like if a hotel chain said, oh, yeah, we'll give you a free hotel room, but we're going to bug the phones. We have cameras aimed at the bed and the shower, and the whole point of us letting you come into the hotel room for free is so we can watch you and do whatever we want with what we capture.
Right.
You'd be like, heck no, I'll pay the $150 for a hotel room, thank you.
Exactly.
And it's the same thing with the email. People go, oh, yeah, but it's free, and I would never pay for email. I'm like, well, you ought to be paying for email because you're paying for it one way or another.
Right. and the cost that you're paying for the free one far exceeds the cost that you're going to pay for a paid one.
Can you imagine if somebody said to you, hey, I'll give you $5 a month if you'll let me read every single email that you write and receive and open all your postal mail? You'd be like, $5? Maybe $500. I'd think about it.
Right.
A
day.
There you go.
A day.
Exactly. Insanity.
Well, the problem, of course, with this, too, is that, and the part that I find the most disturbing about it is Google is almost a quasi-government agency at this point. And what really concerns me about it is the fact that they're taking this data, which we are willingly giving them. And by the way, I want to talk about Facebook and how that combine that with Google and these organizations, both commercial and government, have a complete database on you, and not only you, but your entire circle of friends and everyone around you. But the idea that they are taking this information and buying it from Google and then utilizing it to build a database on you that is, I mean, I don't know if you heard the other day that report from that Senator Maxine Waters, who, and I played it on the show. Maxine Waters says that Obama has this massive database on everyone in America, friend and foe. And it's going to be up to the next presidential candidate what he does with that, because it's such a dangerous database. I'm thinking to myself, my goodness, you've got to be kidding me. And, you know, I mean, the government is buying this information from Google because they can't have it without a purchase.
Well, they don't buy it. They just ask for it, and Google hands it over.
Well, that
so,
too, sure.
And now you're seeing more and more of these partnerships, because it used to be Interpol, you know, the international crime fighting, whatever. Nowadays, it's Google. Google Satellite has a better view of your backyard than Interpol, so they're all working with Google to get this data.
I got you. We're going to take a quick break. When we come back, I'd like to talk with you about your chip-free schools project. So, folks, we're going to take a quick break. You're listening to America's Voice Now, and we have Katherine Albrecht with us this morning. We'll be right back.
There's a closed-door emergency meeting of the United Nations Security Council going on now in response to North Korea's latest nuclear test, which President Obama is condemning.
Japan said the test undermines security, Russia urged North Korea to give up nuclear weapons, and even China accused its ally of heedlessly disregarding world opinion.
Fox News Radio's Alistair Wanklin in Tokyo. The president's expected to announce tonight in his State of the Union address 34,000 troops, about half, will be home from Afghanistan a year from today.
Guests of the First Lady include victims of recent gun violence. That also expected to be a theme in tonight's address. President Obama also has promised immigration reform in his second term. Republican Senator Marco Rubio, part of a bipartisan group pushing immigration legislation, delivers the GOP response.
Fox News Radio's Jared Halpern in Washington. Fox News, we report, you decide.
Family Fun and Fitness, LLC presents rape and assault prevention classes at Country Cupboard in Licking, Missouri. Men, women, boys, and girls, if you want to know how to stack the deck in your favor in a situation where violence is the only answer, this class is for you. Rape and assault prevention classes are held Monday evenings at 5:30 beginning February 11th and run through March 18th. Class size is limited, so call today 417-260-1006 or register at Country Cupboard, 217 North Highway 63 in Licking.
Find the perfect card and gift for your sweetheart at the Nifty Nook, number 7 Court Square in West Plains. Buy 2 Valentine's Day cards and get the rest of your purchase 10% off until February 14th. If you would rather make your sweetheart a gift, come see what they have at their new ceramic studio. The Nifty Nook is open Monday through Friday from 9 to 5 and Saturday from 10 to 2. Find something special for that special someone at the Nifty Nook, and don't forget to like them on Facebook. Look for the Nifty Nook LLC.
There is this product on Amazon that is simply going crazy. The banana slicer, almost 2,500 consumer reviews. I've been trying to come up with an ideal way to slice a banana. Use a knife, they say. Well, my parole officer won't let me around knives. Or how about this one? What can I say about the banana slicer that hasn't already been said about the wheel or penicillin? Obviously, just a pure hoax.
Saturdays noon to 3 and weekdays at 7:35 for your Digital Minute. It's Kim Commando on the Ozarks Best News Talk 107.1.
Today, you ate Greek yogurt. You took the train. You wondered why people spend so much time reading celebrity blogs. You read a celebrity blog. You planned a workout. You skipped it. You did all the things that one normally does the day before a devastating earthquake shakes the community to the ground. You never know when the day before is the day before. Prepare for tomorrow at ready.gov/today. Brought to you by FEMA and the Ad Council.
Weather is a service of News Talk 107.1 The Point. Contact Josh or Cody at 255-2548 for more information on making weather sponsorships part of your marketing plans.
From the Point Weather Center for this morning, a mainly clear sky, becoming cloudy as we head to today. Slight chance for a shower late, high 48. Cloudy tonight, rain this evening, mixed with and change into snow overnight, according to an inch of accumulation, low 34. Tomorrow, increasing amounts of sunshine with a high near 50. I'm meteorologist Jim Rinaldi, and for more information, visit my1071thepoint.com.
I know what you're thinking, Bunk. You're thinking, did he fire 6 shots or only 5?
Dirty Harry gets all his ammo from the battery station. John Rambo, you guessed it. He gets his ammo from the battery station, too. So if you need ammo, go to the place where the guys who know about ammunition go, the battery station. They have one of the largest supplies of ammunition in the area. So make sure you're stocked up and don't get low on shells. Go to the battery station at 303 Washington Avenue in West Plains.
Okay, we are back, and we again are joined by Dr. Katherine Albrecht. Dr. Albrecht is the foremost expert on RFID, privacy, security. And before we let her go, because I know that you've got another engagement this morning, Doctor, I'd like to just touch on your Chip-Free Schools project. You've got a website out there called chipfreeschools.com, if I'm not mistaken.
I do, and that's actually a project out of Texas where people may have heard about this. There's 2 schools there that are doing a pilot project where they're putting an RFID tracking beacon on a lanyard around the kids' necks, and they have to wear this active RFID tracking device.
Hello.
Yeah, exactly. It registers their precise location every 45 seconds in a school computer throughout the entire day. And the worst part about this is that the kids who have opposed it, the one who was the most vocal is Andrea Hernandez. She was literally expelled from the school for saying that she did not want to take part in this. They've literally expelled her, taken her away from her friends. She's off at another school now. She tried to battle them in court, and I am about ready to head out to San Antonio to battle them in the court of public opinion because I have discovered that the program that they're using, the technology that they're using, is so bad, Mike, that I could walk down the streets of San Antonio with a reader device that I could hack off of $100 worth of parts off the internet.
Yeah.
And I could literally identify where kids are home alone right through the walls of their house out to the sidewalk because of this technology. It is so dangerous. Unbelievable. To make kids trackable in that way is the stupidest thing you could ever possibly do.
Of course. I mean, it's a predator's dream.
It's horrible. It is, exactly. And that's really what I'm going to fly out there. We're doing a community forum on the 25th, and we have a meeting, a candlelight vigil in opposition on the 26th out there in San Antonio, February. I'm going to do it again in March, and we've got a bill that's been introduced in Texas to make this illegal. So stay tuned. I'll keep you posted and let you know how this goes. But I think as soon as I can demonstrate to these parents and even the school board that imposed this awful plan how much at risk this puts the kids, I think this program is going to absolutely
die a painful death.
Crumple up and die. I can't wait.
Thank goodness. Hey, chipfreeschools.com is the website for that. So.
And then my radio show is at KMA. Those are my initials. KMAshow.com.
Great. Startpage.com. I've been using it for years, and I fell over it. So. I fell over it just purely by accident, and I started using it.
I'm so glad you found us. It's great.
Me too.
Oh, and I've got a tip for everybody out there. We need, as a community of freedom-loving people, we need to stop saying Google it. Because
Absolutely.
we're giving billions of dollars of free advertising to this nightmare company. So in my home, we say start page it. So that's our new phrase. Give it a shot. And then that email program, if people want to get on board, all they have to do is email beta, B-E-T-A, at startpage.com. You'll get an automatic response. Say that you heard me, Katherine, on America's Voice Now with Michael Evans, and we will get you on the list.
Outstanding. Hey, thank you so much for taking the time to join with us
today.
Hey,
bless you. I always enjoy coming on your show. You're the best.
God bless
you. Take care,
Thanks. Great.
All right.
Folks, that was Dr. Katherine Albrecht, who, again, is the foremost expert on this RFID, privacy and security. She got a start way back in the early 80s and 90s on this thing. And nobody does this better than Dr. Albrecht. She really has a grasp on it. So I encourage you to do a couple of things. One, get to KMAshow.com and listen to a radio show, just like you listen to mine. You can stream it over the web, so if you've got internet access, you're able to capture and listen to that. 2, start using startpage.com. I've told you about this before. And it is a website search engine browser that allows you to, and it works with anything, whether it's Firefox or Internet Explorer or Explorer or Google's Chrome. In fact, give Google the ultimate elbow in the ribs and start using Start Page on Google on Google's Chrome browser, because the truth is that they are capturing your information, they are capturing that data and building a database about you. And we've talked about this over and over and over again. if you're continuing to use Google or Yahoo or one of those, you are opening yourself up to investigation and monitoring that is not in your best interest. So stop doing it. Start using startpage.com. There's even instructions in there on about how you can make it your default search engine. It doesn't take much to follow it, and it's pretty simple to do. Just make startpage.com every time you open your browser, that's where you land, instead of going to Google. Okay? Also, chipfreeschools.com. That is the website where she's talking about this school in Texas that is forcing RFID chips on these kids. And I think you'll find that it's a valuable a website that you can educate yourself about. If you're interested in her free email trial that will come out as a result of StartPage, simply email beta@startpage.com. Indicate in the body of the email, I heard Dr. Albrecht on America's Voice Now with Mike, and I'd like to participate, and you'll get an email later on to inform you how you can utilize their private email system. Okay? And if it's using PGP, that PGP is pretty good privacy. It's an excellent way for you to basically have encrypted email that nobody can monitor. And you know what? It doesn't matter whether you're talking about issues that are political in nature, or whether you're just talking about the fact that you broke your arm when you fell out of a tree. The last thing you want is your insurance company to start recording all of this information about you. So use it. Okay, we've got a couple of seconds before the break, or a minute or so before the break. I do want to mention tomorrow we are going to have Bill Slants on. Bill is the Libertarian candidate who is going to be running against Jason Smith and Jack Russian in the Missouri 8th District seat for Washington. And Bill is the Libertarian candidate. I would like for you to make sure that you are educated and informed about what these candidates are going to do, where they stand, how they're going to affect us in Washington. Make sure that you join us tomorrow for Bill Slant's interview. Now, you can also go to his website, which is billslantz.com. That's BILLSLANTZ.com. So it's slants, like slants, like a piece of wood slants downward, and instead of an S on the end, it's a Z. BillSlants.com. Make sure that you get over there and find out where his positions are, and do your homework before this election that comes up this summer to replace Joanne Emerson. Okay, I want to thank West Plains Pawn and Gun. These are the folks, and jewelry, by the way. These are the folks down here in West Plains on 160 Highway, just about a mile and a half past Walmart, that sponsored this discussion that we had with Katherine Albrecht this morning. And they can be reached at 417-256-3000, and you can find them at West Plains Pawn, PAWN.com. They have about 500 firearms in stock at all times. They get brand new things in every single day. Make sure that you are going down there and patronizing that establishment. They support you, you support them. That's how it works. That's called capitalism, right? So not only that, but they have accessories, ammunition, holsters, slings, optics, scopes, anything and everything you could want for firearms. They also do deal in jewelry, and they also have a pawn shop there, which tell you what, this is the cleanest, whistle cleanest pawn shop I've ever walked into. Very, very nice. It's a very quality and clean operation. I think you'll really be impressed when you get there. It's West Plains Pawn and Gun, and they are on 160 Highway, about a mile or so past Walmart on the right-hand side. Make sure that you get down there. When you do, tell them that you heard about their shop on America's Voice Now, and Mike told you to go in there and talk with them. Also, our friends over at Pizza Hut. Make sure that I just went there yesterday, and I had a great buffet. They have a salad bar there that's excellent. You can get pizza, and there's some hot dishes that you can have at their buffet. The lunch buffet runs, I believe, from about 11 o'clock till 2. And make sure that you get in there and you have yourself a good quality lunch. Salad bar is a great thing for you to do for lunch. It's a great opportunity for you to eat healthy and at the same point in time eat for very inexpensively. So and you can have a slice of pizza on the side too, and that way you have both health and something good to that you like the taste of. So make sure that you see our friends at Pizza Hut. They are on Porter Wagoner Boulevard in West Plains, And also on Tuesday evenings, and that is tonight, you can bring the family there, and kids under 12 eat free. So, again, that buffet is open on Tuesday nights as well. Make sure that you bring your family down there and enjoy it. When you get in there, tell your server or the restaurant manager that you heard about the ad on America's Voice Now, and Mike sent you down. Battery Station, our friends down there at 303 Washington Avenue, 257-7799. That's 417-257-7799. You can find them at batterystation.com. And this is the group I told you about that has the Life Straw. Now, I just went down there yesterday, and I got 5 of them. And I'll tell you why. I keep one in my truck. I keep one with my my camping bag. I keep one with my bug out bag, and every member of my family has one. Life Straw is basically this straw that you can insert into any water. Doesn't matter whether it's a dirty puddle, a pond, a creek, a river, a stream, a lake, period. You can drink the water straight out of this. It blocks 99.9999, 4 nines, actually 6 nines if you want to say 99 point, of bacteria and giardia and those things that can harm you from drinking unboiled water. So this is a thing that you absolutely must have. I mean, you can literally suck drain water right out of a 5-gallon bucket and know that you're not going to get ill from it. And it's like $20, people. You cannot beat the price of that. Every member of your family should have one, and every vehicle in your fleet should have one stuck in the glove box. Make sure that you get down there and see them. Bill Stone, our friend over at Stone Construction, who's been doing this construction work for the last 40 years in our area. Make sure that you get a chance to give him a shot at a bid for your next job. He does remodeling, custom and new construction, and light commercial. He can be reached at 293-0116. And Bill will be more than happy to come out to your project, take a look at it. They do everything from yard and farm work to concrete construction, new and used. Whether it's commercial or residential or farm work, they're the right place for you to go. Bill Stone at Stone Construction, 293-0116. We're going to take a quick break. When we return, we'll wrap the show up and maybe take a call or two. You can also make sure that you visit our friend Mary over at Chantilly's Artisan Bakery, the best damn bakery in 100 miles. She can be reached at 255-2253, number 2 Evans Arcade, right off the square in West Plains. Excellent coffee. She's got a unique and different tasty coffee every day, all organic and locally based and sourced ingredients. Make sure that you see our friend Mary at Chantilly's Artisan Bakery, number 2 Evans Arcade, off the square, 255-2253. We'll be right back.
The area's best selection of firearms, ammunition, and accessories can only be found at West Plains Pawn and Jewelry.
Online at westplainspawn.com.
Top of the line, new and used optics from Nikon, Leopold, Burris, Redfield, Zeiss, and Schmidt & Bender. Ask about their selection of binoculars, laser sights, and night vision goggles. With new arrivals every week, the area's best selection of firearms, ammunition, and accessories can only be found at West Plains Pawn and Jewelry, 1713 West U.S. Highway 160, or shop online at westplainspawn.com.
The winter storm season is here. When we have another ice storm, are you ready? What will you do for heat, food, or water if the power goes out for an extended period? Ozark Mountain Self-Reliance can help you get ready. We have storage food, water purifiers, alternative cooking sets, and a whole lot more. Come see us at 3225 Highway 62 East, Suite number 3, just a half mile past Walmart in Mountain Home. Or call us at 492-4030. That's Ozark Mountain Self-Reliance.
There is this product on Amazon that is simply going crazy. The banana slicer, almost 2,500 consumer reviews. I've been trying to come up with an ideal way to slice a banana. Use a knife, they say. Well, my parole officer won't let me around knives. Or how about this one? What can I say about the banana slicer that hasn't already been said about the wheel or penicillin? Obviously, just a pure hoax.
Saturdays noon to 3 and weekdays at 7:35 for your digital minute. It's Kim Commando on the Ozarks Best News Talk 107.1.
The coldest beer in town is located at Crossroads Convenience on Highway 63 in West Plains, the largest locally owned convenience store and official fueling station of ESPN 100.9. Support local business at Crossroads Convenience and enjoy the coldest beer in town.
If you missed America's Voice Now at 8 a.m. this morning, catch a repeat of America's Voice Now with your host, Michael Evans, at 8 p.m. every night, Monday through Friday, right here on 107.1, the Ozarks' best news talk radio network. All right, we're back, folks. Want to just talk about two things before the end of the show. One, I want to make sure that you folks get a chance to visit our friends over at the Ozark Mountain Self-Reliance Shop. You can find them at ozarkmtnselfreliance.com. Outstanding supporter and contributor to our program, and also they carry a ton of self-reliance, survival, camping, fishing, hunting gear. Make sure that you get down to see them. They also have freeze-dried food, long-term storage food, and that's definitely a benefit for your self-reliance plan. You can find them on the web at Ozark MTN Self-Reliance. You can also find them physically a half mile east of Walmart at 3225 Highway 62 in Mountain Home. You can also call them at 870-492-4030 and get to their website as well. I'm sure that you'll find something that will float your boat and work towards your self-reliance goals. I do want to bring on Mike Slack. Mike last night had the group down in the Property Rights Coalition group down in Ozark, and Mike, that meeting went very, very well. I mean, there was 45 people there or something, right?
Well, the best count we had was 42, and this is our second meeting. Our first meeting had 35.
Okay.
And we were actually competing, we discovered later, with 3 other important meetings in the county for some residents. So,
that's outstanding. I mean, what a great showing for a second meeting of property rights folks.
It was. Thank you for the talk you gave. Everyone was listening with rapt attention. And
okay.
We had 42 people leave with phone numbers of their state senator and the representatives of this area.
Yep.
Good information you gave them and Kevin gave them. Also, as I said last night, we always criticize politicians when they do things we don't care for. We do want to give a pat on the back to Sheriff Underwood of Oregon County.
Absolutely. He stepped up and signed the sheriff's letter that went to Obama that basically declared that he is not going to participate in any violations of the Second Amendment. I'm glad to see that. Thank you, Sheriff Underwood.
Yes. And a little plug for March 5th in Springfield at Remington's Event Center. And I think you'll be there, won't you, Mike?
I will. That's the Firearms Freedom Rally.
Yes. Larry Pratt of Gun Owners of America will be one of the speakers there.
Yep.
And he is coming in on his own dime. He's not getting paid a cent. He's paying for his own plane ticket.
Yep. We're actually going to do a press release announcement there of that real estate deal we were talking about for some enterprising firearms manufacturer who wants to come here to West Plains, Missouri. And so I'm going to kind of withhold it until we have an opportunity on March 5th to do that publicly, but we'll be talking about that there.
Wonderful. Anyway, thanks a lot, Mike, for coming last night. And
thank you for having me.
Next one will always be the second Monday of every month, 6 p.m. at the Spring Dipper in Mammoth Springs.
Great. Folks, if you've got questions on how you can participate in that, and I appreciate it, Mike, thank you very much.
Thank you.
If you've got questions, folks, on how you can participate in these property rights coalition organizations, there's 2 different ways that you can make communication. One, you can go to prcnews.org. That's P, like Property Rights Coalition, the initials, prcnews.org. And they have announcements on there about different meetings, what's going on in the community about property rights issues. Educate and inform yourself about that, and then share it with your friends. These are the people who are watching out for you and your property rights, whether you're a farmer or whether you live in a suburb and you're just worried about how they limit your ability to water your lawn. These are the people that are making a difference in your life, and so you should be a part of those organizations. It's prcnews.org. You can also call Mike for more information on how to join the group down in Oregon if you are down in that area. His phone number is area code 417-264-2435. That's 417-264-2435. I do want to make mention of the fact that you should be on the phone with your legislators, and if you don't know who they are, I can't insist strongly enough that you begin to write things down and you keep a pad handy for, these issues that we talk about on a routine basis. Because if you're not participating, then you're a part of the problem, right? Not the solution. But there are 3 House bills out there right now that are critically important to your to our state. One is the right to work legislation. It's House Bill number 77. And you should be contacting your legislator to make sure that, one, either you thank them for their co-sponsorship and support on this bill, or you should be encouraging them to sponsor this and make sure that they're going to vote for it. 2 is House Bill 436, and that is the Second Amendment Preservation Act. This is a really strongly worded piece of legislation that will effectively allow us as a state to have complete sovereignty over our situation as it relates to firearms, and no one, and I mean no one from the federal government, will determine how Missouri will handle firearms. It is an outstanding piece of legislation. It's House Bill number 436. Get on the web, download it, take a look at it, read it for yourself, then call your legislators and tell them either you want them to support it or you're thanking them for doing so, and then ask them what you can do to help spread the word and get that out there. The last and third bill is House Bill number 46, and it is a unmanned drone anti-surveillance bill. And this is a very, very important one as well. We're seeing the use of drones is exploding across the countryside. And basically the best way to eliminate that is to have an anti-drone bill like this that says you can't use those unless you've got a warrant. So I've got some additions I'm going to make to it. It's called House Bill number 46. It was sponsored by Representative Guernsey, and make sure that your representative is either supporting this or is co-sponsoring it. Okay, we are going to have to bring the show to a close. I would like for you folks to have an opportunity to find more information about what we're talking about every day. And the way that you can do that is by going to our website at americasvoicenow.org. In addition to that, you can also find us on Facebook at facebook.com/America's Voice Now. Now, I want to tell you something. You don't have to have a Facebook page to visit it and see our Facebook page. It's a public page because this is not a private individual's page. Our page for the radio show is what's known as a public page. So even if you don't have a Facebook account, you can still go to facebook.com/America's Voice Now. We post up there interesting stories, links to articles that you should be reading, news and information every single day. And there's all kinds of data up there that you need to know about. So make sure that you get there. Also, even if you're not a YouTube subscriber, you can still view every show that we do because we stream these live on our website, as you know. But in addition to that, we also capture that stream and then post it up on YouTube every day. And so the opportunity is out there for you to go out there. If you miss an episode or if you can only catch half the show and you'd like to see the other half, you can do that as well by going to youtube.com/America's Voice Now. All you have to really do is remember America's Voice Now and put that in after either facebook.com and then put the / in. So it's facebook.com/America's Voice Now, youtube.com/America's Voice Now, or simply just go to americasvoicenow.org. In addition to that, you can catch this show streaming live every day on americasvoicenow.org if you can capture it live. And there's a button on the right-hand side that says Watch Live. And it's so big, you'd have to be Helen Keller to miss it. So there's an opportunity for you to learn and educate, inform yourself about what's going on around you, get motivated to take action, and then activate yourself to do what you can do to restore our national fabric. Because it is full of holes, folks, and we are in big, big trouble. Okay? This interview that we had with Dr. Katherine Albrecht this morning is a good example of that. I mean, our national government is out of control. And the amount of surveillance and the monitoring of American citizens is turning us into 1984, exactly as depicted in the book. And I'm here to tell you, we need to put that to a stop. The only way that it's going to happen is if we take action and stop sitting down on our couches, eating potato chips, waiting for someone else to take action. There is no someone else. It's you. You're listening to America's Voice. My name is Michael Evans. I'm your host every day, Monday through Friday, 8 a.m. to 9 a.m. We repeat this show 8 a.m. to 9 p.m. in case you missed the morning edition or you'd like to call a friend and have them capture the show. And then, of course, we post it up on the web as well. On Saturday mornings, we do a show from 6 a.m. till 9 a.m., and that gives us a little bit longer format, and we have an opportunity to discuss some different issues and news that's going on around us. And so please make sure that you join us for every episode. If you can't catch it live, catch it on the web or catch it on YouTube. There's plenty of ways for you to monitor what's going on in your world around you. We are the folks that are telling the true news every day. We are telling you the truth the mainstream media will not tell you. You're listening to America's Voice. Have a great day. We'll see you tomorrow morning.
News Talk for Missouri and Arkansas. 107.1 KBMV, Birch Tree, West Plains. The Point.
Yo, I'm Dave Anthony. What to do about North Korea? The UN Security Council is considering that now, hours after the North detonated an atomic bomb underground, a nuclear test the U.S. calls highly provocative. Fox News Radio's Alistair Wankland's live in Tokyo.
That's right, the UN Security Council meeting to deal with what Secretary General Ban Ki-moon called North Korea's deplorable rejection of international will. North Korea said the blast was a smaller, more powerful bomb and says it'll never bow to foreign demands. But even ally China condemned the test, so there is potential for stronger penalties than are now in existence. Japan and South Korea are among nations that have been pressing for sanctions as tight as those on Iran. Dave?
Alistair, President Obama will mention the North Koreans in tonight's State of the Union address. He'll also bring up Afghanistan. Fox News Radio's Jared Halpern live in Washington.
The president prepared to announce a major troop reduction in Afghanistan.